Well, hey everybody, we're going to get started in just a few minutes, so if you want to get some food and move to the table, that's fine. Feel free to continue to get food. We got plenty of food. Thank you for coming out tonight. Tonight's a special night, so I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to get some food, get to the table, and then hopefully you're enjoying these slides that Derek and his team put together, because we're here tonight to celebrate the service of a couple of fantastic selfless leaders here in Enid, Oklahoma. Our mayor, George Pankonin, and our commissioner from Ward 1, Jerry Allen. And Jerry, where are you? Oh, you're back there, okay. All right, you're hiding in the back. And so, hey, I just thank you for coming out and taking time tonight to do this. I think it's important we do it. I really want to say thank you to all the staff of the Stride Bank Center who helped put together this nice event, the communications team. It's fantastic. I want to thank all the former officials that have come. I see Mayor Shuey, thank you for coming. Certainly our current commission, our new mayor, Mayor Mason, thank you. Commissioner Stallings, and gosh, we have Whitney Roberts, and we have Derwin Norwood, and we have, let's see, Ron Jansen in the back, who actually had perfect attendance over, I think he served something like 12 years total with perfect attendance. Jeff Funk, you served for a brief time. Thank you very much. And am I missing anybody else that's been a commissioner or a mayor? Because I want to say I've never been a commissioner or a mayor. So I can imagine some of the difficulties, because I've served with in a couple capacities at the city over about 18 years with commissioners and mayors, and we have tough problems. And I think we're doing good all the time, but you know what? The people don't always agree with us. And so you guys hear it more than I do sometimes, but I hear plenty myself. So I appreciate all the service that I've had with you guys, but tonight we're here for couple special people, and I thank everybody else, because everybody else is a distinguished visitor and friends, and I know that Mayor, some Vance guys were here, Colonel Johnson, I think they had to go, I think former General James, that was here. Your Fabricator Coffee Group, I better get moving, because they're leaving. They're just kind of, they came to say hi, bye, but thank you guys, and I'm thinking we have, what were you guys called, the golf, or you're Jerry's golfing group, or? Yes, and I met Jerry, well, there he is back there, Jerry's golfing coach. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. Hey, anyway, thanks for coming tonight. Obviously, the slides are great. I just want to say a few words, and then we have some tokens of appreciation. Oh, you moved around on me, Jerry. Okay, all right. I won't do justice to this, but there have been, over the course of, I'm going to start with you, Jerry, Commissioner Allen. I just think about you. I've lived in this community for a while, a lot longer than I was city manager or even worked at the city. And I got to know you when you ran a funeral home. And so I always thought of you as the funeral home guy, and you were kind of our family funeral home guy. So you did a lot of funerals for my family. You were fairly close friends with some of my family members, some who aren't here anymore, because they passed on. And so I got to know you that way. But I learned a whole lot about you that I didn't know. I didn't know you used to run the restaurant, and gosh, you would tell me the people that used to work for you, and you know, and I thought, well, Jerry, you're doing code stuff. That's really kind of weird. You're a commissioner here at the city of Enid, but you're doing code work. I think you do some financial stuff, and anyway, you've been essentially a lifelong resident here. I think 5 generations of your family, and you've served, gosh, about 9 or 10 years, because you had a stint back. You're a two-time from one era, 94 to 99, I think, and then you did 4 years now, and so that's roughly, what is that, 9 years, if I'm counting right, or 10, however it worked out. That's a lot of time to be a selfless servant. And just so everybody knows, I think most people here know, commissioners don't get paid anything, and the mayor gets paid twice that much, which is still nothing. So anyway, so having said that, let me see. This is kind of a farewell for you. And I personally, I want to thank you for, you've been a great supporter of the city. And I'm talking about the time I served with you. I know you did before. You've been on the park board, I'm going to say, for probably, I don't know, 25 years. Between you and Ron Jansen, I think probably one of you may have a little bit of time more than the other, but not much. And so you've done a lot. You've also served on other boards. I thank you so much, and we are going to give you some tokens of our appreciation now, and then I'm sure you would like an opportunity to tell us some more stories or whatever you want to tell us. And so I'm going to come on down and have you come up front. Well, first of all, I think what I'm going to do is give you a couple coins, because I don't know if you've gotten these before or not. If you did, you got extra ones. They don't work for coffee or golf or anything else. But one of them is one that's really, I call it the city manager coin, because it's for outstanding performance. And so outstanding performance, MVP, you're one of my MVPs, and so you get this coin as a farewell gift. And then you have this other coin that we came up with for the city. We've given a few of these. Mayor, you remember these. I call these FOCs, Friend of the City. And you know, I was just talking about one of the things in this business you'll know, and you'll know very well, is a lot of people don't know a lot about their city government. Their city government affects them more than any other level of government. And so when they do start finding out about that, they figure out that we fix, or if they don't know anything about that, they figure out we fix everything. And so they call you, they call us. And the folks that sometimes just take care of things or do great things for the city, whether it's maintain a little cul-de-sac area, or take care of somebody's polycart, or other various things. So I put you in that category. You're always a friend of the city. And so that's what this says, friend of the city. So we're going to give you this right now. We also have another gift to you from the city, which includes all of us. And it's right here. And so I guess I'm going to pull off the tablecloth so that you can see it. And I hope you like it, because we put a lot of thought into it, and we really hope you like it. So that yeah, and I think that was, was that about 2 years ago? We did an orientation when some new commissioners were coming in then, and I think Commissioner Roberts, you were one of them, and everybody was there, and so I thought, this is the group you have served with. And so you have some more of those coins, but those are kind of stuck in there. And so anyway, so Commissioner, again, thank you for all your service. And now I'm going to turn it over to you, because again, you've been a dedicated public servant, and I know you have some things to say.
Okay, thank you. Can I go from up there? Give this back to you. Thank you all for coming tonight. First off, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the one person that I forgot, actually two people, last Tuesday night when we had our commission meeting, and that is Carol Lehman and Josh from the City Attorney's Department. Carol just does yeoman's labor. She is such a hard worker, and will create document after document anticipating needs and thoughts that some of us or somebody else might come up with. And we're just really fortunate to have her and Josh in that office. Okay, so I won the mother and father lottery. That's part of my success. I had a really cool dad and a really cool mother, and they gave me a good start. I had a privileged upbringing. I don't deny any of that, but I've worked my ass off ever since I got old enough to have a job at 14 years old. Excuse me. So I've had a very unusual career. I had 7 restaurants, nightclubs, including the Pepper Mill and Jay's Lounge. Many of you in the room know that. During that time, I served on the board of directors of the Oklahoma Restaurant Association, so that got me started serving and being on boards and realizing that I enjoyed that. Did Enid Restaurant Association, Enid Club Owners, all those kind of things. And then I went into work at the funeral home, and I spent 16 years there. My dad once told me, unless you're the lead dog, the view never changes. So I took that to heart, and I always tried to be, the president of the board or get on the board or whatever I could do to serve, because I enjoyed serving people. And the funeral home business and the restaurant business is where you do that kind of thing. It was delightful. I did not see coming that I was going to get fired at the funeral home once they decided to change the name of it, but that was probably an easier thing for me to put up with. So that's when I got involved with the financial business and went to work with AXA, and I did that for 9 years. What intrigued me about that, when I got on board with them after I passed all the tests, they told me that 95% of the people that last 5 years in the financial business will continue to make a career out of it. Well, I thought that's delightful. Then I asked them, what happens to the other 5%? They said they were in jail. Fortunately, I've spent 65 years staying out of jail, and that's one of the things I would make in comments at meetings to Gerald and Carol, is just keep us out of jail. So I got on the park board in 1994, and right after that got elected to filled an unexpired position on the commission, and then won that seat, and have been pretty much in constant business with the city ever since then. And it's been a great ride. When I got off the commission the first time, that would have been in 1999, I joined Tri-State, and I served on that board 16 or so years. Tim DeClerc, I can't beat what he's done. He's been there a long time. And really enjoyed that, and the whole musicality of everything, and working with the kids. So if you look back at my career service, most of it involves indirectly kids, so like Tri-State and parks, because parks are free and they provide great entertainment for people, and it gets them in the great outdoors. And so I feel I'm considered the grandfather of the trail system. I identified the area that it would go in, that we still use today, and the expansion of it has been tremendous over the years. Enid's very fortunate to have that. And numerous parks have been redone, and I've got to work with 2 skate parks. The waterfall at Government Springs was one of my projects. Don't get me wrong, some things were my idea, most things are other people's idea, and they would tell me about it, and I would share that vision, and I would carry their banner. I mean, I've never been very good at being a part of like an Ambux or a Rotary, but if I believe in their mission, I'll go help them. I'll go out and help for a race or whatever needs to happen. And so I believe in public service. My family believed in that, and so that's where I have been trying to do in my career. That's about, one last thing, the turn signals at Garriott and Cleveland. I really wanted those to be dedicated, and we got those done a year ago. We got 2 more going out west, and over a period of years, I hope that gets done. Otherwise, I've had a tremendous time serving on the commission. Generally, people have been very generous with their comments, and when they weren't generous, that was okay too. So thank you very much for tonight. Thank you very much for coming out, and I'll see you around the square. Bye-bye.
Well, Commissioner Allen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure serving with you. You did rattle off a list of projects. It's fantastic. There's more than that. One big one, I don't recall if you mentioned Caw Lake. You, and the mayor and the current commission has been a big part of moving us along. That's been a very difficult project. Started probably back in 2015, but a lot of, as you both know, in the current commission, we've had a lot of difficult problems and challenges that we've solved and overcome, and I appreciate your support on that. And so when that is complete, sometime next year, it will be a tribute, and we will certainly have a good time then. So, all right, well, Mayor Pankonin. So, again, it's the same thing, a long list of projects. Kaw Lake is at the top of it, and you know, Commissioner Allen rattled off a lot of them with the skate park. That comes to mind. Numerous road projects I can think of. One of them was Willow between Cleveland and Oakwood. Commissioner Stallings, I think you live over there, and so you, like most people, I hope you've forgotten how long that took and all the challenges, but that was a really wonderful stretch of road now. So those are just some wonderful things that I think about. And of course, the advanced soccer park. You guys all were critical in that. The city spent, over the course of four or 5 years or so, we allocated about $5 million, and that park's almost complete. And that's really a $15 million plus park. So that's going to be a wonderful tribute as we go down the line. So I did want to note one other project that both of you guys and the current commission was pivotal on that I'm personally pleased with. The Leona Mitchell Waterline Project. I just want folks, I think people in here know, but people that may not be in here know that we do listen. And, you know, sometimes maybe I don't listen as good as I should, but when a whole bunch of people show up at a meeting and start talking about water and start talking about sediments in the water and problems, we listen. And I can remember you guys and several of you saying, hey, we need to get this fixed. And I'm very proud of the city's response. And from about the time that was mentioned, and Commissioner Norwood, I think your dad might have kicked it off one day, I think in this very room, maybe a couple years ago, and I want to say a February study session talking about problems with water, fire protection in the Southern Heights area. So in any event, you guys both have been a pivotal part of that. That was a fantastic improvement. Well, Mayor, obviously, we're going to give you some nice stuff too, and then you're going to get an opportunity to come up here. And Commissioner Allen gave a pretty good speech, but you're going to get a chance to follow him. But first, we're going to unveil and show you your picture, which I'm pretty sure you're going to like because you helped design it. So come on up. Mayor, I'll let you talk about the Altus Trophy, but you get to take this one home. Now, if you want a rotation of that one, as you know, we've got it for a year, but if you want to pull this off, yeah, again, it's a... Yeah, so that'll look good. Melody, hopefully he's got a place in the garage somewhere or some place to hang that. It'll look really good. I think we do have something else particular for you from the employees. And there's a few spots left on it, so if anybody here wants to come on up. The mayor, early on, I was telling the new mayor kind of the story. You know, one of the things that you had kind of, I'm going to say at least for me, had kind of pioneered at the city. Mayor Shuey had not really used an office because for a while he had the bank and then he just got around. But you had talked about an office and a parking spot. And coming from the military, particularly, that's kind of where the parking spot came from. And of course, I said, yes, sir, and we will get a parking spot. So since we have a new mayor and he didn't like parking in the spot that said Mayor George Pankonin, we thought, well, we'll give this to you. And what better way? A lot of folks have taken a few minutes to put some well wishes to you on the back of this. And so we want to present that from the employees to you to keep. And so, you bet.
It's mobile. I can just take it with me wherever I want.
Would you like to go up and say a few words, or you can use this microphone, or however you want to do it? The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. All right, those that know me know that I taught college for Embry-Riddle for 10 years. So get ready for 3 semester hours. No, just kidding. Good evening, Enid. I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts regarding the last 6 years. 2 years as the Ward 6 Commissioner and the last 4 years as your mayor. It may come as a surprise to you that I never had any political aspirations. I was happily retired, staying active as the volunteer director for the Retiree Activities Office at Vance, and serving on a few boards, including the Enid chapter of the Air Force Association. The city was preparing for a city election cycle in summer of 2016. Commissioner for Ward 6 was preparing to run for re-election, and many constituents in the ward were looking for a change. I was asked, maybe more precisely encouraged, to run for the Ward 6 seat. Many of those encouraging me are in this room today. I was successful in winning the seat and was appointed early because my opponent left Enid to accept another work position in Oklahoma City. I think serving in an elected position for the first time is very exciting. It's like the first day of college or the first day on a new job. You have a chance to see how local government works. As you might imagine, there's a lot to learn. I bonded with 2 other commissioners, Commissioner Norwood, who was appointed to serve Ward 2, and Commissioner Waddell, who was elected to serve in Ward 4. We went through the training offered by Oklahoma Municipal League and also learned a lot from the city staff, as well as other commissioners. One of the things we noticed early on was how many issues voted on by the commission only required moments of discussion before the vote. We thought that was kind of strange. What we found out was the reason the votes only took moments was because the commissioners had already read material, oftentimes hundreds of pages of material, to prepare for the meeting. I really enjoyed serving the constituents of Ward 6 as their commissioner. My good friend, Bill Shuey, with us tonight, was the mayor, and when the next election cycle came up, Bill was term limited, so he could not run for re-election. I decided once again, with the encouragement of many in this room, and after discussion with my wife, Melody, that I'd run for mayor. I drew 2 very worthy opponents, and we held what I believe was one of the cleanest campaign races in the city's history. Nobody knows what the future will bring. Every leader realizes they must find a way to deal with whatever issues the future might bring them. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 pandemic was the largest unforeseen issue that we had to deal with during my time as mayor. The real issue was the number of variants that COVID brought with it. How contagious was it? Was it more devastating for some people than others? Would wearing masks and taking immunizations protect us? Or was total isolation the only prevention for the spread of the disease? Of course, these are only a few of the variables that we needed to consider as the pandemic and its treatment recommendations evolved over time. Every week, it was a little different. As time went on, I realized there was no finish line in sight, and that what we really needed to do was balance the immediate health needs of the citizens with long-term economic needs of the businesses. If everyone survived, but businesses went bankrupt, that would certainly not be considered a win. Determining our way on this new COVID path involved many community leaders, not just your elected leaders. I credit Dan Scheidel with forming an ad hoc community leader team that included health professionals, education leaders, nonprofit leaders, as well as city staff and elected leaders, to assess the evolving threat and share information on needs of individuals and businesses. In hindsight, I believe we made the correct decisions as the pandemic evolved. I have one last thought I'd like to share. I'm proud of our past and optimistic for our future. Our city was built by icons. Some have been here since the land run, while others have found their way to Enid a little more recently, but all have made huge contributions to making Enid what it is today. I recently prepared and delivered a proclamation recognizing Johnston Seed on their 130th anniversary of their business starting in Enid. Many other businesses come to mind that have very deep roots in our community, including Grondike Transport, Tyson, evolving from Advanced Meats, Continental Resources, Atwood's Ranch and Home, and so many more local businesses that started right here and have spread across the country. The pioneers that started these businesses were and still are contributing to the special fabric that is our community today. Perhaps you've heard of the Grand National Quail Hunt, or David Allen Memorial Ballpark, or the brand new Advanced Soccer Complex. Let's not forget the impact that we have had on Vance Air Force Base and the impact that they have had on us. We've been their wingmen in training the best military aviators since 1941, and we could not ask for more community-focused citizens than our airmen. How about a quick example? You probably all know the military personnel were stationed at Vance and decided to stay or to return to Vance after leaving the military. Many of you know that was the case with me. How many know that Enid Police Department Chief Brian Skaggs was stationed at Vance Air Force Base with me 35 years ago? We were both in uniform 35 years ago at Vance. The fabric of our community also is packed with unselfish services of many nonprofit organizations like CDSA, United Way, Hope Outreach, Loaves and Fishes, For Our Kids, Air Force Association, and so many others. How can we not be proud of our past and where we are today as a community? I'm also extremely optimistic about our future. I see new businesses coming to Enid to grow their company in a place that appreciates them. Businesses like Renew, who remanufactures heads for windmills, and Bry Steel, the new pipe manufacturer that bought the Jeffco building. I see our local businesses like Jiffy Trip expanding to the rest of the state and even adjacent states. I also see small businesses like Jackson's Jewelers, who have served Enid for over 45 years. I see enthusiastic young people in our community with strategic vision of our future. Perhaps you know Tony Whedon, who has recently formed Base Connect and City Connect and has many other ideas on how to make Enid a better place for us all. I could list others, many of whom can be found in the Enid Under 40 group, or Leadership Greater Enid, or as volunteers on many boards and committees that are so important to making Enid special. Certainly you can see why I'm so optimistic about our future. Let me end with a final ask for you. I want to encourage you and your children and your grandchildren to be involved in the future of Enid. It may include serving as an elected leader. You won't get a check for your service, but you'll get an unimaginable amount of self-satisfaction in knowing you helped make a difference. Even if you don't have the time to serve now, consider it in the future when your schedule allows. In the meantime, make it a priority to vote every single election. Many seem surprised and disappointed at the results of one of our recent ward elections. They've gone so far as to address the city council during public comment section of the meeting, asking us what we were going to do about it. To be frank, there's not much that we can do to remove a duly elected commissioner from their post, nor should there be, absent any proof of misconduct. The lesson to us all is we need to individually research and understand the position of the candidates running for office and then vote for the candidate that most aligns with our beliefs and positions. Finally, I have a couple of thank yous this afternoon. First, I want to thank my wife for her support and understanding during the past 6 years. It's easy but inexcusable to overlook the sacrifices that our spouses make when we agree to serve others. I also want to thank all of you for the distinct honor and privilege to serve as the 47th Mayor of Enid. Thanks again for your continued support over the past 6 years. Thank you.
Well, Mayor, I think maybe you want to say one more thing about this trophy, because this is a culmination of a lot of work by you and Mike Cooper and the commission. So,
yeah, I'd be happy to. I talked a little bit in my remarks about the close relationship between us and Vance. It's been that way since 1941. It's never stronger than it is today, and tomorrow is going to be better than that. I've talked with Mayor Mason. He is very interested in keeping that strong relationship alive and plans to be just as active with the base as I was, so I'm glad to hear that. One of the things that happened a few years ago is we won the Altus Trophy, and that was, I think, what year was it? 2013 or 14? Let me look. 2013. We are now the only base in Air Education Training Command that's won it twice. Now there is that base that won it 3 times, so we're not talking about that. So we have won it twice. We're only one of 2 bases that's won it more than once. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, enough of a big deal where a 3-star general flies up here from San Antonio to present it to the community. It's that big a deal. And what it recognizes is a close relationship between a community and the base in their area. So I couldn't be more proud of this trophy. We will have it for the next year. The plan is to rotate it around to different places in the city so that many people can see it. We'll also have it out at Vance Air Force Base because in fact it's an award that needs to be shared by both of us. So that's what's going to happen there. I did use it most recently at Enlisted Appreciation Night. Many of you are aware of that program. And it was last week, and we decided we couldn't find a hopper. We couldn't find the thing to put everybody's name in for the drawings, for the prizes. We looked around, we found bowls, we found it, but nothing seemed to work. And I said, wait a minute, I know where it's a trophy. So we brought it with us. We put all the names in the hat, and we used that because, in fact, they too helped us win this award. So it's a great award. And I'm so proud of our community for being able to win it for a second time. So let's keep that going, and thank you very much.
Well, Mayor, why don't you stay up here? Mayor Mason, why don't you come up, and Commissioner Allen, because we have another presentation.
First of all, Mayor, I wanted to say, almost never got the bolts out of that sign today, but I worked very hard at it. I was sitting around just trying to think what I wanted to say, and I got thinking about you learn a lot about a person's personality when you're in an executive session because it's closed off to the public. You can express exactly what's on your mind in any means that you want to do that. And having had the opportunity to serve with both of these guys, I was allowed to do that, and I learned real quick how different personalities are. And what I found was, and I was thinking back today, even during the most stressful moments that you can imagine, Jerry would just come up with the funniest thing to say, just out of the blue. And you just look over and go, where'd you come up with that? And I always appreciated that, Jerry. It really relieved a lot of stress that was going on. The other thing I will say, Jerry, is that you were always a strong advocate for your ward and for the city as a whole. But I've seen you slap your hand down on that table more than once talking about Ward 1. And I do appreciate that. And those are just things that people don't always see. Mayor, same thing with you. I had the opportunity to serve for 2 years. And when you're in an executive session, when there's a lot of tension and a lot of strong personalities, it's good to have a voice of reason. And you were the rudder that kept that straight. And I appreciate that more than you know. I hope to be able to learn from that. I hope I have learned from that. And that's a hard thing to do, sit there and just say, wait a minute, we're not going to go down this road. And I appreciate that about you. So you both know, you've been around a long time, you realize that once you're in, you're always in. Mayor, you've told me many times that you'd called Mayor Shuey and asked, what do I do about this? How do I handle this? You've told me I can do the same thing. Jerry, you and I have had so many phone calls, I can't even imagine how much we've talked on the phone about different topics, and I appreciate that. So that being said, we would like to give both of you a key to the city. We've got your name on it. Know that you're always, always welcome, and I encourage you to be a part of that. Commissioner Allen, that one's yours. So thank y'all very much, and just thank you from me for allowing me to serve with you. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we're coming close to the end, but not quite. And even when we're at the end, there's still plenty of food, and hopefully you guys can socialize again. And it's good to know that both of you will still be in our community doing great things for us, just in a different role. But I believe at this time, we want to get a picture. We have a wonderful cake back there that makes both of you. Mayor, I think you almost look as young as you do in one of these pictures, and you do too, Commissioner Allen. So, Derek, do we want him to go back and take a photo right now by the cake? So if you guys don't mind, if you would stand up and go back by the cake. Before we cut the cake and start serving everybody, we'd like to have you go do that. And then, of course, we're all going to eat some cake.
Everybody, right? Congrats. Congrats.